On to item number 3 with a public hearing regarding the Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistant Grants, and we have Lieutenant Baker here from the PD. Welcome.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Tonight before you, we have a staff report looking for approval for the 2017 and 2018 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Grant. In 2017, we applied for this grant, and through circumstances beyond our control, due to some conflicting state and federal opinions of law, that grant was not funded until November of this current year. We submitted our 2018 application this fall, and shortly after receiving approval for the 2017 award, we found out we also obtained the 18 award as well. This grant is a little bit unique in the fact that we share these funds with Sutter County. So for the 2017 award, we'll receive $15,667, and for the 18 award, we'll receive $17,719. Of that, the city will be the fiscal agent, and we will receive $14,845 from the 17 award. And for the 18 award, we'll be the recipient of $15,450, with the county receiving the remaining funds. For the 17 award, that was $822, and for the 18 award, it's $2,259. Good thing about this grant, it's a no-match grant. We intend to utilize these funds for a number of years. We've had an interoperability system, and that has been housed in the Sutter Buttes, and so we have to rent vault space up on the top of the buttes to secure the radio equipment. And there's also a maintenance contract that we have to pay for annually for that equipment. There's a couple things of note regarding that equipment and the interoperability and what it is. So during the evacuation in 2017, we had numerous law enforcement agencies come in from throughout the North State to assist us when the city was evacuated. Because of that interoperability system, we were able to have everybody on the same communication channel, which is critical in emergency events, having everybody being able to communicate with one another. And also recently, during the Camp Fire, Butte County had some issues with their equipment, and they were able to utilize part of the interoperability equipment that we have, so they could get in excess of 200 law enforcement officers to be able to communicate during that event up there. So the recommendation is, after a public hearing, adopt a resolution authorizing the Chief of Police to accept the 2017 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant in the amount of $15,867. The second one would be adopting a resolution authorizing the Chief of Police to accept the 18 Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Grant in the amount of $17,719. Authorize the mayor to execute the associated memorandums of understanding with Sutter County on behalf of the city, following approval by the city attorney. The fourth recommendation would be to authorize the mayor to execute the 2017 and 2018 certifications and assurances documents that are attached to the staff report, and authorize the chief financial officer to make the necessary budget adjustments. And at this time, I'll take any questions that the council may have.
All right, back to council for any questions.
Through the mayor, does it take anybody to staff that that system that manages the interoperability, or is it automatic?
There is some setup that goes into that, and through our partnership with Motorola and Motorola Solutions, we have the ability to do that. There's a reserve for the Sutter County Sheriff's Department that is employed by Motorola itself, and we've always been able to utilize him to make those things happen. It takes probably about an hour to get it all set up and running in a critical incident.
Thank you.
Else? All right.
Through the mayor.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm glad to hear that you talked about the interoperability. I can't say the actual word. Utilized, but how can you give us an example of how that was used when the evacuation that you mentioned in 2017?
So everybody operates on different radio frequencies or throughout the North State in our region that we would request mutual aid from. So with this interoperability system, it gives people the ability that we can merge all those frequencies together. Ask me how that happens, and I'll stand here and tell you I don't have a clue. I can turn a radio on, I can turn a computer on, but how it works, I don't know. But what it does is it migrates everything to one channel. So like at the campfire, our staff was up there for about 18 days from the police department working that event, and I worked several days up there. They had over 200 law enforcement officers, like I said, on one channel. So that's a pretty big feat, and it's very helpful in those events to where people don't know the area, so it can get confusing, and being able to all communicate on one streamlined radio channel is very important, and it improves officer safety.
Thank you.
Good. Yep. All right. Well, this time we'll open up the public hearing for Edward Byrne Memorial Justice Assistance Grant, which is now open. If there are any members of the public who would like to address the council on the issue, please step up to the podium and state your name and address for the record. Hearing no further comment on the issue, I am closing the public hearing, bringing matter back to council for action. Please.
Mr. Mayor, I've got a few additional questions. I was waiting to see if the public had any comments
Okay.
first. I get the whole system with the inoperability, and that is a huge success. Two questions I have for you. First of all, did I hear correct? We're relying on one reserve officer to be able to bring this system up.
We have that luxury of having him to be able to do that for us. Our local Sutter Buttes Communication also has people that can make that go live for us as well. So there is some redundancy built into that
Okay.
process.
All right, thank you. The second question that I would have is, I know the report lays it out what these funds are being used for, and they're great if we have a big catastrophe. The campfire, the Oroville Dam last year, the floods several years ago. But can any of these funds be used to help improve our communication on a day-to-day issue between the two agencies, such as, we have the Walton area, which is currently still being serviced by the county, and we have issues sometimes to where people are calling in and have to get referred over to the county. Can any of these funds, if we continue to get grants, be used to improve that system to where our residents on a day-to-day basis will have better compatibility with working with the two agencies when they have an issue?
It could be, if I understand what you're saying, that may be something more along the lines of when they call into dispatch. Is that what?
Correct. When they call into dispatch, call into 911, I've heard multiple times where people not realizing if they're in the county or the city because of all the jurisdictions issues, then they have to get transferred, have to call back into another dispatch. I'm not talking the entire grant, but if we continue to get this year over year, can we be looking in the future for some of these funds to be used to help resolve that issue for our residents, for our citizens?
Good evening, Council. So, Councilman Shaw, to answer your question, right, this is big scale. This is the ability to handle that. And the other one is just a simple matter of jurisdictional issue. So I don't think it's so much a communication issue and grant funding. It's more of a outlining which is the jurisdiction. If we're going to take over law enforcement services eventually, I don't think there's a communication or a interoperability issue that exists there. The phone lines, they can call us very readily, and we have the same channels. We can communicate with Sutter County right now without interoperability. So we can always look to use other avenues in the future for the funding, but the cost of the renting that particular space is always going to be the same cost. We'll always have that cost. We can either do it through a grant or we can do it out of the budget. Either way, the cost is going to be there.
Right. Okay.
But I hope I answered your question. I apologize if I didn't.
You did. I didn't want us not to address a day-to-day issue by only looking at the large-scale issue and wanting to know if we have that ability. And it sounds like you're saying, Chief, that we have that ability and it is being looked at on an ongoing basis.
Correct. Absolutely.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
That's all the questions I had, Mayor.
Good. All right. Looking for action.
Through the mayor?
Yes?
Okay, I'm not gonna read all this. I'm just gonna staff's recommendation of A, B, C, D, and E.
And just for clarity, you're gonna do what with staff's recommendation?
Adopt the resolution of A, B, C, D, and E. I'm just gonna say.
Move to approve it?
Move to approve,
All right.
please.
Have a second.
I'll second.
All right, first and second to approve staff's recommendations A through E. All those in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye?
Aye.
Aye.
No, same sign. Any abstentions? All right, thank you very much. Congrats.
Thank you.
All right.